All right, good morning, everyone. It is 8:01 a.m. on December 8th, 2023.
As a reminder for everybody, because we are getting a little bit of feedback, if you could put your mics on mute until you would do the roll call.
This meeting will be open to the public at the above location and will proceed by video conference as allowed under Texas Government Code Section 155.127. The location above shall have two-way audio-video communication with each of the other locations during the meeting. The president or presiding officer of the board will be physically present at the location and room listed above. Please note that accommodation will be available for members of the public to physically attend the meeting at the above location, but will be subject to limitations set out by the Texas Facilities Commission seating. Members of the public are encouraged to attend the meeting by accessing the video conference or audio links below. All right, with that, I will go ahead and call the full board to order, and we will have roll call.
Dr. Zaffron.
Present.
Dr. Farmer. Mr. Kokonos.
Present.
Mrs. Barnes.
Here.
Dr. Bhatia.
Present.
Dr. Deloche.
Here.
Dr. DeStefano.
Present.
Mr. Gracia.
Present.
Mrs. Harrod.
I'm here.
Dr. Martinez.
Here.
Mrs. Morgan.
Here.
Dr. Naidu.
Here.
Dr. Nyack. Dr. Quinones. Dr. Tibbles. Dr. Vanderwide.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a quorum. We may proceed.
Thank you. So our mission is to protect and enhance the public's health, safety, and welfare by establishing and maintaining standards of excellence used in regulating the practice of medicine and ensuring quality health care for the citizens of Texas through licensure, discipline, and education. Just for my board member report, this is very brief. We are here at the end of the year. Just kind of reiterate a lot of the things that we have discussed earlier, especially in my last newsletter, as we talked about the hydration clinics, the ketamine clinics, just all these things that we want to make sure that the Medical Practice Act is adhered to, and that the provisions of appropriate delegation, appropriate oversight, and supervision are all followed. These are things that potentially could be a danger to the public if not followed and adhered to, as we have heard recently in other different media reports. So again, more to come on that, but just want everybody to be mindful about a lot of these new types of business models and practices that are opening up around the state. All right, with that, I will move on to agenda item number 3, which is discussion, recommendation, and possible action related to the internal auditor.
Yes, good morning. As was discussed during the executive yesterday, it is time for us to select our new internal auditor. We had used Weaver the last several years. That contract has expired, and part of best practice is to rotate and get a different internal auditor, kind of the next go round. So we had 6 submissions. We reviewed them all, and the best one that we had and the highest scoring was Garza and Gonzalez and Associates. They do have previous experience with the medical board. If you recall, they were with us before Weaver. So we're looking forward to using them with your approval as the board. The contract would start for fiscal year 2024 and with options to go out to 2027. So we would just need a vote for your approval.
So if I could entertain a motion, please.
Move to approve Weaver as
I believe that was Dr. Vanderwide. No,
Yeah, so there was a move to approve Garza and Gonzalez. Was there a second?
Second, Morgan.
All right, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations, and thank you to our new internal auditing team. Next item is consideration and possible action for dispositions below minimum guidelines. There are no items there. Consideration and approval of mediated settlement agreed order. Sorry.
There are some under agreed
Oh.
orders and some under.
All right, let me pause over here. I guess I'll go back on this one. Here we go. It's not on here. All right, so consideration and possible action for dispositions below minimum guidelines. And we have agreed orders and remedial plans. Are there any extractions on those two items? Seeing none, is there any recusals on those two items? All right, is there a motion on agenda item number 4?
So moved, Bhatia.
Moved by Dr. Bhatia, moved for approval, I'm
Move to
presuming.
approve.
And is there a second?
Second, DeStefano.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Item passes. Agenda item number 5, consideration and approval of mediated settlement agreed orders. There are 2 items there. Are there any extractions or recusals? Seeing none, is there a motion on agenda item number 5?
So moved, Morgan.
Moved by Ms. Morgan, moved for approval. Is there a second? I believe
Second,
that
Vander
was
Wide.
Dr. Deloche and Dr. Vanderwide. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Item passes. Agenda item number 6, consideration and possible action for remedial plans. Under that, we have administrative rules, crime laws that are none there, impairments none there, peer review and state action, standard of care, unprofessional conduct, and late remedial plans. Are there any extractions or recusals under agenda item number 6?
Vander Wide recusal for number 23.
Dr. Vanderwide recusing on number 23 under agenda item number 6. Any other recusals? All right, with that, is there a motion on agenda item number 6?
I'll make a motion, Kokonos, to approve agenda
Motion
item
to,
6.
thank you, Mr. Kokonos. Is there a
And I'll
second?
second it, Herod.
Thank you, Ms. Harrod. Any further discussion? All right, with that, on agenda item number 6, with the exception with Dr. Vanderwide on that one item, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, agenda item number 6 passes. Agenda item number 7, consideration and possible action for agreed orders. Again, there are several items under there, administrative rules, crime laws, there are none there, impairments, peer review state action, standard of care, unprofessional conduct, and late orders. Are there any extractions or recusals on agenda item number 7? All right, seeing that, is there a motion on?
Dr. Zaffron, I'm sorry, staff does need to pull one under agenda item 7, standard of care for discussion. If you want to take a vote on the others, it is order number 6.
Okay. All right, so we're extracting agenda item number 6, and we will deal with that separately later. I will now entertain a motion to accept agenda item number 7 with the exception of item number 6. Is there a motion?
Move to approve, Bhatia.
Move to approve by Dr. Bhatia with the exception of item number 6. Is there a second?
Second, Martinez.
Seconded by Dr. Martinez. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, that agenda item passes. I will entertain item number 6 and agenda item number 7 at the end of agenda item number 13. So we will return to that when we get to that agenda item. All right, agenda item number 8. Consideration and approval of modification request, termination request orders. There are 3 items there. Are there any extractions or recusals? Seeing none, is there a motion on agenda item number 8?
I move, Dr. Zaffron, Kokonos, to approve agenda item number 8, consideration approval of modification request, termination request orders.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kokonos. Is there a second?
Second, Gracia.
All right, thank you. Are there any further discussion on agenda item number 8? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Agenda item number 8 passes. Okay, agenda item number 9, consideration approval modification request termination request of non-public rehabilitation orders. I don't believe there are any items there. Agenda item number 10, consideration approval of cease and desist orders. Are there any extractions or recusals under agenda item number 10?
Dr. Martinez recused myself from number 1.
You'd like to extract number 1?
Yeah, or I would like to recuse myself from.
Oh, okay, sorry. You'd like to recuse from number 1 under agenda item number 10.
Yes.
Any further extractions or recusals? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 10.
Vanderwide move to approve cease and desist orders, agenda item 10.
All right, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Harrod.
Seconded by Ms. Harrod. So with the exception of the recusal, are there, all those in favor of agenda item number 10, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, agenda item number 10 passes. Number 11, consideration approval of non-pro-tunc orders. There are no items there. Under agenda item number 12, consideration approval of agreed resolution orders. There are no items there. Number 13, consent orders. There are none there. So with that, I will go back to agenda item number 7, consideration and possible action for agreed orders. I believe there's a request to go into executive session.
Need an executive session on that.
Okay, here we go. All right, so there is a motion for myself to go into executive session for deliberation. What are we doing this for?
Yeah.
For advice of counsel. So my motion is to go into executive session for advice of counsel. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Harrod.
All right, seconded by Ms. Harrod. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, so we have passed going to executive session at 8:13 a.m. on December 8th, 2023. While in executive session, the board will not take any action, make any decision, or vote with regard to any matter that may be considered or discussed. A certified agenda of any executive session will be made.
Alrighty, so we will be utilizing breakout rooms for this, for the remainder of the public that's in the meeting. Just sit tight and the board will be moved into a breakout room. And whenever executive session has concluded, the board will return to this main meeting area. So I've pressed the button, just give us a couple seconds to all shift over.
Okay, so the executive session is ending at 8:36 a.m. on December 8th, 2023. There was no final action, decision, or vote with regard to any matter considered or discussed in executive session. A certified agenda of the executive session was made. So on agenda item number 7, item number 6, there are several options before you as to what is the proposal for that complaint. There is a proposal for an agreed order, and there is a proposal for a remedial plan, and there is a proposal for a for dismissal. This is a case that involved a boundaries issue, and as we all know from statute, a complaint that arises that involves boundaries issues, the only option before the board is actually an agreed order or potentially dismissal. So with that, is there any further discussion, or is there a proposal on agenda item number 7, item number 6?
Dr. Zafran and Dr. Vanderwide, I have a proposal for agreed order standard of care number 6 to approve the proposed agreed order.
Second, so-
Barnes.
So it's been moved by Dr. Vanderwide and seconded by Ms. Barnes. Is there any further discussions, or are there any recusals on this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, that item passes. Now, I'm going to ask you actually now to go back to agenda item number 4. And item number 4. There is an agenda item there that we actually earlier agreed to, and it was missed by us. That was approved for a remedial plan that is below the standards, but it actually also involves a boundaries issue. You guys want to look at it real quick? You can take a look at it. But as we had just discussed, if it involves a boundaries issue, really by statute, our only option is for an agreed order. So I'm going to ask us to revisit that one specific item, agenda item number 4, item number 4. If there's any questions about it, and with that, I will also entertain a motion if so needed.
And Scott and GC team, if the board, if anyone on the board does want to reopen it, since there was an earlier vote, if you guys could just maybe help the board out procedurally with the terminology to use to make sure we're reopening and readdressing that one appropriately.
Yeah, I think what you want to do is you want to recall that item, name it specifically, and have one of the members of the board, if a majority voted, it has to be someone in the majority, can call to re-go to that one. And then what you want to do is you want to, I just had the term in my mind. Give me a moment. I'm sorry. You want
reconsider.
Thank you, Dr. Zafran. Want to reconsider the vote on that. And so you have to entertain a motion to see if and get a second to reconsider. Then you have to vote on the motion to reconsider and withdraw it, and then take up a new motion. So you've got two or three steps in here, basically. Yes, Dr. Zafran, that's correct.
Okay. So with that, I'm actually calling back agenda item number 4, item number 4. And as I have discussed what the issue is, now with that, there would need to be a motion to reconsider that item.
Can we go into executive session on that?
We can.
Because that was a case that I was part of.
Okay.
And
Is that your motion to go into executive session?
I think so.
Okay. All right. So there is a motion.
So
Is there a second?
for the record, though, Brent, we are leaving Dr. Zafran's motion to reconsider pending, subject to executive session requested by Ms. Morgan. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so there is a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second?
Look like Dr.
Van Wyk.
Dr. Deloche wanted to, all right. He was on mute. We heard Dr. Nadeau.
Okay.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the board close the meeting to the public. Is there any objection by any board member? All right, so with that, there being no objection, this meeting is now closed to the public at 8:41 a.m. on December 8th, 2023. The meeting will continue in executive session for the purpose of private consultations and advice of counsel concerning pending or contemplated litigation, settlement offers, and or legal matters subject to the attorney-client privilege under the authority of the Open Meetings Act, Section 551.071 Government Code. While in executive session, the board will not take any action, make any decision, or vote with regard to any matter that may be considered or discussed.
All right, button pressed. Just give it a couple seconds.
Okay, is everybody back?
Looks good on my end.
All right, so the executive session ended at 8:51 a.m. on December 8th, 2023. There was no final action, decision, or vote with regard to any matter considered or discussed in the executive session. A certified agenda of the executive session was made. I am going to go ahead and withdraw my motion to reconsider on agenda item number four, and we will proceed on unless there's any objection. All right, with that, agenda item number 14. Consideration and approval of determination of default. And with that, I will hand this off to Ms. Swanholm.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zafarian. Hello. Today you have two proposed orders of default in front of you. The first one is for Dr. Marianne Beard. The complaint alleged failure to comply with the terms of a 2021 remedial plan. We tried very hard to reach out to her to explain and to provide information, but we're unable to reach her. She did not participate in the hearing on the merits. Required notice was given. The judge entered a default order when she did not show up at the hearing on the merits, and a final order is in front of you for your consideration and adoption if you would like to take a vote on that. You can do so at this time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Swanholm. So before you is consideration of agenda item number 14, item A. Dr. Beard, is there any motion on that item?
Dr. Vanderwide, move to approve the default order.
We have a motion from Dr. Vanderwide. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it, Harrod.
Seconded by Ms. Harrod. Is there any further discussion or recusals? With that, all in favor of agenda item number 14, number A, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, item passes.
All
Second
right.
one?
All right, agenda item 14B in front of you for your consideration is Dr. Cesar Francisco Mello. Dr. Mello did participate to some extent at the beginning of the process. Board staff was able to communicate with him, but he did not show any interest in responding to discovery, showing up for his hearing on the merits, or participating with staff in trying to resolve the matter further. The complaint alleged impairment, failure to meet the terms of his Texas PHP agreement, as well as disciplinary action in another state. Board staff did provide all of the required notice. He did not show up for the hearing on the merits as mentioned, and you have a final default order in front of you for your consideration and adoption.
Thank you, Ms. Swanholm. So before you is
Dr.
agenda.
Zafran, can I just
Yes. Go ahead,
just
Scott.
out of an abundance of caution, please call to see if they happen to be here today on both of the defaults.
Okay, so is Dr. Beard or a representative of Dr. Beard or Dr. Mella or a representative of Dr. Mella present here today? Okay. All right, so with that, again, on agenda item number 14, item B, Dr. Mella, is there a motion?
Well, Dr. Zafran, I have a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
This is Dr. Vanderwide. I assume the default order is item 5 under 14B. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Can we have someone read the first paragraph of that order?
Sure, I can read it. It is.
All right, let me look at that.
That's the wrong name.
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
we'll
All right,
fix that.
That will be fixed.
Thank you, Dr. Vanderwide.
Excellent.
That's all. Thanks.
The name needed to be corrected, so that's going to be fixed here.
Okay, so with that correction, if you would like to make a vote, you could do so at this time. We'll correct the name. If there is other typos where the name was incorrect, we'll take it as direction to fix that as well in the order that we present to Dr. Zafarian for signature.
All right, and I will make sure Dr. Vanderwide and verify before I sign it that the name is correct. So, all right, with that, is there a motion on the table for that item?
Move to
I'll make
approve the
Motion to
default.
approve.
Second, Morgan.
So it's moved to approve by Dr. Bhatia and seconded by Ms. Morgan. All, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? The item passes. Number 15, consideration and approval of proposal for decision. There's no items there. And with that, I will move on to the executive director report with Mr. Carlton.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I'll try to keep this brief for you. For complaints against the agency, there are no new complaints to make you aware of. Legislative update. With the additional resources that we received from legislative session, we are continuing to hire staff into those new positions. It is going well. We've filled the majority of those with a few more to fill out over the next couple of months. The rule update. We have been going through 2 to 3 times a week, meeting as staff to go through all of these rules. The vast majority of them have been drafted with new language, and they are just about ready to send over to the governor's office to kind of continue going through its review process. And so hopefully in March, we will have a whole slew of rules for you guys to look through. As far as any other legislative update, all of the continuing special sessions, nothing has impacted the medical board so far. And I'll finally turn it over to Joey to give you a little more details on our budget update.
Thank you, Brent. Good morning, board members. I'll be brief as well. So I did make a couple of tweaks to the report that you have in front of you. You have one report for budget year 23 and one report for budget year 24, the current budget year. Page 3 that summarizes major accounts for our budget has made it a little bit easier for you to read just to see where the numbers are. On page 3 of budget year 2024, that summary at the bottom, I will add to that. It'll have projections for our revenue collections. Right now we have 2 accounts, and we'll keep monitoring those revenue collections throughout the fiscal year to make sure we reach our targets or find new ways to mitigate any shortfalls in those revenues. On page 6 of both reports, on the right-hand side under the revenue collection summary, I've added 2 new percentage points that I want everyone to kind of get familiar with. We've talked about these before, and now that we're preparing for the next legislative session, I want to have these numbers more readily available for everyone. But basically, under the revenue collections against appropriations, those 2 percentages basically state for every revenue that the legislators appropriate to us, we have about $2.5 going back to the state. So that's something that we're working on so we can get more revenues for our agency and less to the state. And then the last 2 numbers, that just shows our expenditures against our revenue collections. And we've talked about this before. Historically, the agency expends about 40% of what we collect. So another number that we're trying to increase as we move forward. For fiscal year 2023, I mentioned this last time, we did execute 100%. So happy to see that. On that report, the last page, I've updated our financial notes and I provided some comments for revenue streams that had variances from the prior year of 10% greater or less. And then for our budget year 2024 report, as of Q1, we're looking at about a 93% budget execution for the year. So we'll work on those numbers and get that closer to 100% as we go out through the year. And then for the revenue collections on page 10, I've also added our revenue collections for the current year. So you'll see those numbers from fiscal year 2012 through fiscal year 2024. So pending any other questions, I'll hand it back to you, Brent.
Okay, last item. I know big on everyone's minds when we're going to have the next in-person meeting. The boardroom in the building here is still not ready. Texas Facilities Commission continues to work on it. Structurally, a lot of it is complete. It's the IT piece of it that is still a problem with audio visual and just having secure connections back to our servers. So in the alternative, if the boardroom is not ready, what we'll look at doing is trying to have a hybrid meeting here in the ISC room. We can, in March, for the March meeting, we can fit 14 board members in here comfortably. To get any more than that would take some real kind of gymnastics and shuffling. But if we can get 14, there are currently 3 vacancies, so we have 16 board members. So if it turns out that 2 cannot attend in person, which they could still attend virtually, we will look to try to do something for the March board meeting. So that way you can start making some plans and can work with Laura on your schedules to see who may be able to attend in person. And hopefully we'll see you all here in just a few months.
Great, thank you, Brent. And of course, as we get a little bit closer to that, we'll have a much better idea. Jeff tells me that maybe we will have some movement on the IT side of it, so we may still be able to be downstairs in the big boardroom, but we shall see. All right, with that, Dr. Brett, Medical Director report.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to let you know we're doing very well with the expert reports and expert panelists. The 2 additional staff have really cleaned things up. Wanted to echo Chris's thanks to them that he expressed at DPRC. Both Adriana Leal and Belinda West, very experienced individuals and have really helped out. Additionally, some of the process changes that you've made with respect to number of experts on the simple cases has helped out quite a bit. We still have a big backlog of hematology oncology cases, and that makes up more than half of the cases that are overdue. So again, I'm reaching out to you all to see if you have any recommendations or suggestions. We did discuss at DPRC. You have given us direction that we can solicit additional experts from out of state. That the big effect of that is really that existing experts who move out of state could still opine for us. We haven't been very successful in recruiting experts from out of state. So we may want to think about additional strategies to reach out to those individuals. But certainly really would accept just about any recommendations you all had for additional experts.
Thank you, Dr. Brett. And as I had mentioned in the DPRC meeting, I know that there are some institutions, particularly those who have expertise in HEMONC, have their own set of rules as far as the financial component of it. You know, we can have discussions with those institutions, see if they can make some of their staff available as expert panelists, especially as it comes to things like hematology, oncology, and so forth. So we'll try that angle also. But thank you. All right. So with that, is there a public information update, Tori?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Just a couple of items for you today. First, we do intend to publish one final edition of the TMB Bulletin to close out 2023. So please be on the lookout for that in your inboxes. I also have an exciting update about the bulletin itself, which is that it will be getting a fresh new look in the new year, along with a number of other materials at the agency. This effort's largely tied to the impending public website redesign that we've spoken to you all about in the past. The legislature was gracious enough to grant us funding for that during this past session. So between now and your next board meeting in March, staff is going to be working to revamp the look and feel of all of the agency's outward-facing content, including the bulletin. Assuming all goes as planned, the website overhaul will be kicking off sometime this spring. So I am looking forward to providing you with even more details on that endeavor at the next board meeting, maybe in person. Be on the, be excited about that. That concludes my remarks for today, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Tori. And I think I was giving everybody some direction that on the website, Brent has to look older and I have to look younger.
Done.
So just make sure that we kind of take care of that part.
Noted.
Okay. With that, is there a report from our physician assistant liaison?
I do believe, Dr. Zafran, that Dr. Rao is here. He's a
I do think we did have a PA liaison. But not sure where he is.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and move on. If they come back later on and want to present, we can do that. Next item is consideration and possible action regarding pending litigation. Mr. Freshour.
Yes. Again, board members, there's not anything really going on that is different than last time. You've got a couple of substantial evidence appeals. And the courts have been affirming you. You do have, I think I told you last board meeting that the Lane case, which was a case you took up several months ago, or maybe even more than several months, was appealed up to the Third Court of Appeals, and the Third Court of Appeals found that your sanctions were appropriate and the board acted appropriate. That has been appealed now up to the Texas Supreme Court. They haven't ruled on it. They haven't even decided if they're going to hear the case. Our attorney generals have filed an answer supporting what you did, and if and when we hear anything on that, we'll let you know. The case itself is strong. We had some good findings on our behalf. It's more of an argument once again of, well, the board really didn't prove everything they alleged, so somehow they think the case was frivolous, and it's similar allegations that we've heard. There is a provision in the Administrative Procedure Act that said if the board brings a frivolous case where a state agency, they can be on the hook for the other side's attorney's fees. Well, if you have any findings at all that support a violation, the law says that you can act as a board. So we're very confident that this is going nowhere, but just so you know, it's out there. Otherwise, it's routine information. You are getting, and I know Miss Morgan, I think close to the Thanksgiving holiday, you all still may be getting some correspondence about, some of the transgender care bills. You may get some things about the abortion care. There was a new lawsuit filed recently on some of the abortion legislation. So you may be getting correspondence. If you do, please don't respond. Just notify Mr. Carlton and I. And once we see, we usually get a copy of it, but if we don't have a copy, whoever happens to be the first unlucky board member to notify us of that, we may ask you to send a copy just so we know what they're asking you, but don't respond to those because it's all ongoing litigation. And that would be my report, Dr. Zafran.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Freshour. All right. The next several items are all reports. Again, if there's any desire to extract any of those and discuss, please indicate and we'll do so. Number 21 is a report on temporary suspension hearings. 22, report on suspensions by operation of law. 23, report on motions for rehearing requests. 24, report on cease and desist orders approved by the executive director. 25, report on automatic orders. 26, report of cancellations regarding investigations. And with that, we have agenda item number 27, but there's nothing there, which is consideration and approval of orders to show cause. 28, revised, consideration and approval of revised, vacated, or amended orders. Again, nothing there. And then 29 through 35, and this is the item that is going to be probably fairly busy in our next meeting. Are all discussions or recommendations regarding our rules or proposed rules along the different other sub-agencies that are underneath the medical board also. So with that, we will go to agenda item number 36, which is our open forum for public comment. And I will hand this back off to Mr. Carlton.
Yes, as most of you are aware, this is the time where the public has 3 minutes to make a statement to the board. They can cover any topic that they think the board needs to be made aware of, or any item that they want to recommend the board to take up at a future meeting. As a reminder to our board members, because this is public comment and it's not anything that's specifically on the agenda, the board is pretty limited in what type of response the board can give. But if there is anyone that would like to take the opportunity to speak to the board, now is your time. We do not have anybody in the room, I think, that is going to make any type of public comment. But if we have anyone that has joined us on Teams or over the phone, please just raise your hand in Teams or be sure to unmute yourself on your phone and just state your name and we'll get you started. All right, not seeing any hands raised or hearing any names yet. We'll give it another few seconds just in case someone is muted. Okay.
Hi, this
Oh.
is Dr. Rao Ali. I hope I'm not interrupting. I believe I missed agenda item 19.
Yeah,
I am.
yeah, we
board member
will.
of PA board.
Yeah, Dr. Ali, we will, we'll come back to that one as soon as we
Okay,
finish
okay,
up.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm so
no,
sorry
thank
about
you.
that. I just
No,
wanna
no,
make
that's
sure that
okay.
I didn't miss it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for letting us know. We will
Thanks.
go back to that one. Anybody else have any public comments at this time? All right, hearing none, I think that will conclude agenda item number 36.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carlton. And again, going back to our physician assistant liaison report, Dr. Ali, may go ahead and proceed.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Rao Ali. I am honored to be part of Physician Assistant Board, and I'm a physician, so it's an honor to be part of this meeting. Just that, my board, which is PA board, they want to thank you for all of your support, all of your help, and things are going really great. And I just came here to introduce myself, but I'm happy to take any message back to my PA board if there is anything, any question, any concern. Thank you.
Great, thank you, and thank you for serving on the PA board. We're happy to have you on there. So
Thank you, sir.
good having you.
Thanks. Okay.
All right, with that, agenda item number 37, discussion, recommendation, and possible action relating to personnel matters. Do we have any items there? All right, none. Are we ready for the consent agenda? We have all our items in there?
Let's take a look here. Word from last month or last meeting. C minutes, exec minutes, finance minutes, licensure minutes. I believe so.
All right, very good. So with that, we can proceed on to the consent agenda. You have two items there. We can make a motion for both items if you'd like. I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda items number 1 and number 2.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 and 2. Barnes.
Thank you, Ms.
Second,
Barnes.
Morgan.
Is there a second?
Second, Morgan.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Is there any discussion on items number 1 and 2? With that, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. As all of you know, December is usually kind of a cleanup month as far as our items. So thank you for all of us finishing early today so everybody can go and enjoy the weekend. I think it's going to be a little rainy this weekend, so please be careful out there. The holidays are coming up, and I don't think we're going to all see each other until after the holidays. So please be safe, and I wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Hanukkah.
yeah, Happy Hanukkah, and
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, and all the other holidays that are out there. So again, please be safe, enjoy your time with your families, and look forward to seeing everybody again soon, maybe in person next time. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also, I'd say a hook 'em horns for the Longhorns
that's
in
right.
the playoff there. So
I am hoping that on January 8th, I will actually be at that game for the national championship. So
And that they don't lose 65-7 like TCU did.
I'll take
All
a
right.
motion to adjourn.
Motion
Second,
adjourned by Dr.
Barnes.
Bhatia, seconded by Ms.
Second,
Barnes.
Barnes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you. We are adjourned at 9:15 a.m., December 8th, 2023.
Aye.
Thank you all.